Hail. I'm Reverend Ms. Knox, and you're watching Random Convictions. So, today's topic of interest, discussion, whatever, I don't mind discussion, and if you feel the need to be disgusted, please discuss. It's going to be magic. I'm going to define magic, initially, as any manifestation of one's will being imposed upon the world. This spreads from everything to getting dressed in the morning to convincing your best friend that shopping at Hot Topic is a most excellent idea, whatever it might be. This also goes down the lines of advertiser, and magic can be split up into two separate categories, although as you start looking further into the real essence of what the occult is about, which ultimately just amounts to secrets and secrecy. Because that's the meaning of the word. Look it up. Your dictionary is your friend. And I really shouldn't be talking so condescendingly to most of my audience, considering a large majority of you are actually, with me on these things. Although I do have some interesting subscribers. Shock of God, for instance, is subscribed to me, which is like a jetliner over my head, and imagine how I feel. So, this one's for you. Magic can be divided into two separate categories: lesser magic and greater magic. Lesser magic is, in its essence, more fitted for everyday use, and a good portion of people use lesser magic on an everyday basis, but never think about it. Lesser magic could be defined simply as social engineering. Anytime you pull a fast one on someone, hey, you're practicing magic. You're practicing social engineering. Then there's the other aspect of it, which is greater magic. And that comes down to ritualization, meta-programming of the mind, if you're into that kind of thing. Cheers. There's some aspects to greater and lesser magic which are common, and those I will begin by discussing. That paradigm shifting, which allows you to view things from different angles, perspectives, allows you to see things from a grander scale sometimes, or from a angle that you're not used to, especially when you start really getting into it, and into your character, that is, that you start to experience life as someone living with those terms. Let me clarify this a little bit. Paradigm shifting is essentially method acting. You take on a persona. In the ritual sense, you could be the master of ceremonies, or the incense bearer, or the altar. But essentially it boils down to becoming whatever it is. If you're female and you're the altar, you want to be as alluring but still as possible. There are many different types of rituals, of course. Some of them are purely meditatory. Others are more intense, deal with movement, dancing, convulsions, chanting, and there's chanting even within the meditative sense. And you see that with the Buddhist mantras, which can be taken into a Western light, and you could start saying your mantras in English or in German. But essentially, it's getting down to the act of non-thought. Non-thought. With the negation of thought, the running internal commentary, there's also the evocation of emotion, the rising of emotion within, and getting that to a peak as well. There's a certain amount of method acting that comes along with all of it that you have to really take seriously. And this also helps with the everyday social engineering tasks. Peter Carroll says to fake it until you make it. Put all of your intensity into it, even if you don't experience all of the mystical things during ritual that some have recorded in accounts, to continue it. And when you find yourself at a point where you should be seeing your egregore or your demon or whatever it is, your angel, to treat it as if they were there and speak to them as if they were there. As you continue to do this and basically map out those mental synapses within your brain, you can open up those pathways wherein later you will experience something. The act of lucid dreaming, out-of-body experiences, all of these happen within a biochemical sense. And it's getting your brain to recognize when you're wanting a certain function to happen. I don't know if that'll do it completely. Anyone looking to go further into it, I highly suggest The Paradigmal Pirate by Josh Wetzel, Condensed Chaos by Phil Hine, Prometheus Rising by Robert Anton Wilson, Real Magic by Isaac Bonewitz, anything written by Peter Carroll, and any number of other books out there that might catch your fancy, that seem to be fitting along those same lines. And with that, catch you later. Oh, one more thing. You want to look into a system that seems workable. I should rephrase that. If you want to look into a system that's workable, but not every day, and doesn't seem too cliche, I highly recommend that you read the Dark Tower series by Stephen King. Beyond that, I say look into the Stephen King connections, and maybe even use that as your building blocks. Or don't. Or whatever.